apart, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows, I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, as long as I get paid. Bad little vibe, she been on my mind, soon as I get back, she get straight. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise, every other night another movie getting made. Jump too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows, I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, as long as I get paid. Bad little vibe, she been on my mind, soon as I get back, she get straight. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise, every other night another movie getting made.
My name is Lily Abdelmalek, and everybody calls me Lily or Lil. I'm the owner and founder of DSA Sports Performance here in Marietta, Georgia. I had worked for 2 different sports training companies before I started my own. And I always say that usually at the point of me making moves, it's because I notice God puts me in a corner. So I either got to go left and give up, or I got to go right and take on the challenge and kind of. This is like going on my 19th NFL offseason as a whole, but I'm going on over 10 years of me owning my own business.
Hey, take it off.
So when I first started,
Let's go about.
I mean, and it still applies today, it was really for the love and success to see others kind of strive for what they want. Never a selfish reason. It fills my heart to like see other people happy and succeed. So that's really where it all kind of started from. It's really uncommon to hear about a female building a business to this caliber. So, and I say that because, you know, we have an over 15,000 square foot facility. I have a team of therapists that work alongside me and the trainers that we have. I'm able to come through and get the right type of trainers, and the energy of the gym and the way that our synergy is between us, from the trainers that train like the middle school kids to the therapists and the doctors, it's just, I don't think there's anything like it out there. There's a reason why most professional athletes that come through these doors stay. We got guys who have trained with us for 7+ years, and it's very known that athletes like to jump around from trainer to trainer. So for me to sit here and say, hey, Casey Hayward has been with us for 11 years. Josh Bynes has been with us for, you know, over 9 years. Antonio Hamilton, like these are all professional NFL players. And same thing, even when you talk about basketball and baseball, like 10+ years. You don't really hear that much on a scale that trains well over hundreds of athletes. So I think that is such a big achievement to me because, you know, a lot of people can train, a lot of people are educated, and so I don't think that it's anything that we do more or less of from the trainer next door. I think it's the care, I think it's the energy, the culture, the understanding that I'm here for you, and that's all I care about right now. So I've worked with some of the greatest athletes ever. When you talk about football, I've worked with the likes of Takeo Spikes for years. I've worked with athletes such as Jaylen Brown, who's still with the Celtics. Athletes like Jason Hayward, I've been with him since 2014, and he plays baseball. He was with Atlanta, he was with the Cardinals, he was with the Cubs, and now he's with the Dodgers. But it's just been a journey, and I've met such great athletes over these years, and I guess it got to a point where I just felt like I need to allow people to kind of see what we do, because everybody always tells me they always see this girl training all these guys, and they don't quite understand how I even made it this way or this far. So this is kind of my little handout, my flyer to show y'all what we got going on and why we do what we do here.
All right. Guys on three, guys on three. 1, 2, 3, go!
Keon White is a D-line, DN pass rusher. He's coming out of Georgia Tech, and he decided to come through and train with us for his combine and pro day. Great guy. Just really got a good head on his shoulders, and I guess it's interesting because I don't market for combine training. I don't ask guys to come for combine training. I really love NFL off-season training, but there's an aspect of combine training that is, interesting. It's intriguing, and I've had some history working with it. But it just, from our business standpoint and what we got going on, it just wasn't anything I was like chasing to do compared to like other sports performance companies. So one thing I always say is like, it's kind of crazy how people just kind of like gravitate to us. And that's kind of what Keon did with us. He kind of gravitated to us and wanted to train with us and did things definitely out of the norm compared to like what other combine players do. So he wanted like a little bit of what we did. He did skills training somewhere else. He had his doctors and like his therapists in another location. So I like how kind of innovative and how he can think for himself and decide his path for himself. So that was a cool aspect to Keon. Every goal is we gotta get this guy faster and move better. So that's definitely always the number one goal for him, but and for any athlete coming in for the combine. So hopefully, everything's paying off and the road we've taken has been the right road, and he's seeing like the benefits and the fruits of his labor. So our goal is to get him on a team and to get him the best deal he can possibly get, given the fact that he is a first-round prospect. What I really love about Keon is that he's the kind of person that will work hard, knows he put in the work, and not question it afterwards. So what's done is done, and he's always going to look forward to the next day. What's the work you're going to put in the next day? Like whatever he did yesterday doesn't matter anymore. Like we just going to keep building forward. And so I think that's like a great quality that I love about him, because a lot of guys kind of dwell on the past and the what ifs and I should haves, and he's always looking forward. There's always like strengths and weaknesses. That's always a thing. So he's definitely an explosive guy. He is obviously, one of the best out there. But there's definitely some details that are always to be worked on. I mean, everybody knows that he had an ankle injury, so it's just kind of working through the ankle injury he had like years ago and trying to kind of get through, that weakness and kind of the small little hurdles to be able to apply mobility and change of direction and speed when you don't necessarily have full range of motion in his ankle mobility. But it is what it is, so we gotta just keep it pushing.
For me, because I'm training here at DSA, it's not that hard because I'm training with guys who are doing it actively. So like I'm just doing the same thing they're doing. And like when I was in college, I was pretty much, like especially at Georgia Tech, I was pretty much doing this. Like I wasn't really going to classes. We didn't really have classes or anything like that, especially being a grad student and everything. So I was pretty much managing my own time and being a professional in college. I used Georgia Tech almost like an agency. So like they just funded my stuff and they allowed me to have access to a lot of things and manage my own time. Unlike if you were an undergrad doing a school, you kind of sort of are on a schedule. So I wasn't on a schedule, I was on my schedule. So it was better for me. I could have went to all these like Bomberitos, XP, Exos and all that, but I feel like you get lost in the numbers there. So they have 30 guys there, and at the end of the day, you just become a number and just a check. Lil don't do combine training. And when I first started combine training here, it was just me. So having that more one-on-one feel was really good for me. And then I knew she could train guys that were in the league now. So if she's good enough for them, she's good enough for me. Plus, you don't really see that many women doing this. So I feel like if you're a woman doing this, you got to be 2 times better than any guy doing it, because just to have the opportunity and get your foot in the door. Like I feel like how society's set up, they just got to be better. So that was one of the main reasons too. I was pretty high on body fat percentage. I was like 23%. And then now I'm around 14. So yeah, big difference. Same weight too. So same exact weight, 285. And that was a big thing for me coming into this whole process. Just a level-headedness. I don't really get too emotional about anything. And I can analyze, and then I can self-correct. So I'm able to understand and admit when I do wrong and do bullshit. So like, a lot of people have a hard time saying to themselves that they suck. Like I'd be like, yeah, I sucked at this. Like I'm doing wrong movements, wrong steps, and so that's what I feel like allows you to be better. For me, I don't stress about the past because that like I feel like that leads to like depression and shit like that when you like always like look into the past, and I feel like when you look towards the future, that leads to anxiety. So I pretty much live in the present. Like today is the only thing I can really have effect on, and like what I do immediately next. So I carry that all around in all aspects of life, not just football. So like, I can't change what I did if I did bullshit, but I can learn from it. So I can just change how I move like in the future. And I can't affect the future other than the work I put in today. So why would I worry about what happens next versus what's happening now? The combine training has been really personalized, geared towards me, like, especially because of my ankle. Like with Jermaine, I've been doing a lot of single leg stuff, trying to like improve that. And just the environment. So all these guys here are working, they're in the league or they're in the USFL or they're working towards something. And I'm not with a bunch of guys that are trying to make it. So they have no, like the guys that were trying to make it, they have no idea what it's like. So now I can bounce ideas off like TA, Casey, all those guys, like Vince, who've been in the league or who are in the league and have done years in the league. And they see it a little bit different. So that was like a big thing for me too. Man, speaking about how like those guys like tell you about shit, they were like making it out the blues, like combine's like super stressful and like it's gonna be like one of the hardest weeks ever. Yeah, you have long days and everything like that, but you know what you're there for. Like I'm not gonna be mad because I'm up till 12 o'clock at night doing interviews because I get to do interviews with NFL teams. Like there's guys at the crib that wish they could do that. Combine was a dope experience. Got endless gear, like good clothes, good people. Got to talk with scouts, bounced ideas and everything like that. Adidas was out there giving out free shoes and everything like that. So like overall, the combine is like a dope experience for sure. I give my overall performance like a B. Like, wasn't nothing crazy, but like I feel like I didn't do like trash either. Like I definitely, like you always feel like you could have did stuff better. Like I could have dropped my hips a little bit better on some of the drills. I could have warmed up better on bench. I could have did a lot of things better, but overall it was good enough. You don't ever really want to settle for good enough, but you can't change it. But you got pro day. I got pro day coming up next Thursday, so I'll be all right.
On the next episode of DSA All Access.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Definitely my footwork. I don't know if you ever seen videos of her footwork, but it's amazing. And just be more light on my feet, you know, especially me being a bigger guy, having to move in tight spaces inside the trenches, you know, it definitely helped me maneuver being here with her and a lot of different training styles and different things and techniques.